Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday highlighted India's growing defence prowess while addressing the Indian diaspora in Melbourne, Australia. Speaking at the Melbourne Meets Modi event alongside Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Prime Minister Modi said the world is now witnessing the capability and credibility of India's indigenous defence platforms. He's also referred to Operation Sindoor, stating the precision strikes on terrorist hideouts sent out a powerful message whose echoes were heard across the world. The operation was India's decisive response to the April 2025 Pahalgam terror attack. His remarks drew loud cheers from the audience, underscoring national pride in the country's military strength and zero-tolerance policy against terrorism. Let's take a look.
आपने ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान डेमो तो देख ही लिया होगा। धमाके आतंकियों के अड्डों पर हो रहे थे और गूंज पूरी दुनिया में सुनाई दे रही थी। टेरर कैंप पर इस करारे प्रहार से आपको गर्व हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? हुआ कि नहीं हुआ? साथियों,
Major General Sudhakar Ji, senior geopolitical commentator, is joining us on the broadcast. Major General Sudhakar Ji, clearly, of course, Prime Minister Modi, strong statements there that addressed to the Indian diaspora in Melbourne. But speaking, of course, about India's defence prowess while highlighting Operation Sindoor, what do you make of what he said?
Good evening, Uday. Thank you for inviting me for your special show. And my take on the whole issue is that it is worth actually sharing with the Indian diaspora. They are part of us, part of the country. Every success and failure must be shared with them. And Operation Sindoor has been a landmark, golden milestone as far as the India's defense capability is concerned. It has not only given a fitting response to Pakistan and the terrorist groups that it sponsors for trans-border operations, but also told the world that India does not compromise. It believes and practices in zero tolerance as far as terrorism is concerned. And having said that, India also has demonstrated the architecture of how to launch an offensive against the terrorists who had the audacity and temerity to take the lives of 26 innocent civilians who were the tourists and in a peaceful environment. So the message has gone out loud and clear to Pakistan. They have been shaken up to the hilt. On top of it, it has been complemented by the holding in abeyance of Indus Water Treaty. And more than that is the devastation which actually started getting escalated from 9 terrorist camps on 6th, 7th night of May 2025 to the 7th, 8th, and 8th, 9th, particularly 8th and 9th, when the airfields were actually started getting engaged. This was in response to Pakistan. Pakistan was told that we are done. We are not hitting your army installations. We are not hitting your civilian establishments or civilian population. We are done. But Pakistan was not very happy. They said, no, you may be done, but we would like to reply back to you. So they started replying and we gave it back to them nice and properly. And we say by the rough count is around 11 airfields, but their Prime Minister himself, he has said that there are more than 17 airfields which have been hit. So in hitting the airfields, the nuclear bluff, which is to be taken advantage of by Pakistan for several years, was called out loud and clear when the Kirana Hills were hit accidentally, or I would say inadvertently, or by plan, whatever it may be. I'm given to understand by the official this thing, it was never planned. But whatever the case may be, they were actually on the knees, and the DGMO of Pakistan came begging that please stop. Although Donald Trump is trying to take the credit, but he doesn't have any role in this because within 24 hours, same Donald Trump, JD Vance, they've gone to the extent of telling India, it is a bilateral issue. You please deal with Pakistan the way you think is appropriate. Don't bother us. I still very remember. I was not in the country. I was outside in America itself, or some other country in Europe. I have heard this JD Vance saying. I have also heard Donald Trump taking a sharp U turn from deal it with yourself, don't bother us, this is a bilateral issue,
Yes.
to suddenly taking Pakistan on the lap and started saying that they had negotiated and that's how the ceasefire came
Yes.
into effect.
And he's also, of course, spoken about how, Prime Minister Modi today, the echoes of what India did, those precision strikes, were felt all across the world. And it's quite fitting that he was saying it at a venue down under, very far away from where those strikes happened. But the cheers as soon as PM Modi said the words Operation Sindoor showed how much those echoes were felt all around the world. Major General Sudhakarji.
Dispassionately, Uday, you made a very strong point. I commend you, I compliment you for the same. No matter wherever an Indian is, he needs to thump his chest because this is for the first time in military science. A new concept, a new doctrine was tried out successfully. Military science world over. People may have used in Ukraine and Russia, that conflict, they have been actually throwing at each other the drones and all. This is for the first time a new concept has been actually tested and validated. That new concept is the standoff attack. When you talk about the standoff attack, within the subcontinent, it is a well-known and established fact that India and Pakistan have gone to war, crossing each other's border and carrying out destruction and devastation of each other's assets, properties, civilians, etc., etc. But this time, without crossing the border, the targets were neutralized significantly with minimum or no collateral damage, with precision targeting. So that actually went on to say how accurate the intelligence, people who are dealing with intelligence and the satellite specific details,
Yes.
which were actually provided, they were loaded onto the projectiles, and that's how they hit them. And second thing is that in military science is something called a beyond visual range. This is perhaps, I won't say for the first time, but maybe in a situation as obtaining an Operation Sindoor, beyond visual range targets were launched by the projectiles by the Air Force, and they hit the targets very accurately. And third and most important is that the geostrategic important targets of Pakistan were hit very close to Rawalpindi, very close to Islamabad. And I will not take the name, people know what I mean, that they were shaken up. The message which went out loud and clearly is that this time we are close to your office. Next time we'll be hitting the chief of the army staff, or we'll be hitting the Prime Minister of Pakistan very accurately.
Yes.
Without
and it's also very fitting. It's also very fitting that he said it with the Prime Minister of Australia, Anthony Albanese, on the same stage as PM Modi as well when he made these remarks. And that clearly shows also how the world has backed this approach that India has taken, displaying zero negligence, zero tolerance against terrorism.
Yeah, absolutely. Because one has to remain alive to the fact that India is the only country which had given a proposal way back in 97 to United Nations Security Council with regard to a kind of a concept and a doctrine for counterterrorism. Unfortunately, that proposal is gathering dust. But fortunately, 9/11 took place, America was shaken up, and they undertook the global war against terror for 20 years without any positive outcome. They were hunting for Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. Finally, in 2011, they actually neutralized him in Abbottabad. in the same country which was supporting the Taliban. They were playing double game. So the Honorable Prime Minister is doing good. He's doing a fantastic and I would say brilliant job by sending the message across to the Indian diaspora because they are our spokespersons, spokespeople. They're the ones who are going to share and spread the Indian philosophy of we don't like anybody. We have never attacked any country, but if somebody attacks us, then we give it back nice and properly. And whether they take it kindly or unkindly, it is entirely up to them. And we have kept Operation Sindoor open-ended. And we have said in our national doctrine that an act of terror will always be treated as an act of war. And therefore, the whole nation is prepared to give it back to Pakistan or whichever country from whose soil the terrorism is going to be launched. Now, I believe Bangladesh is being developed into a new epicenter of terrorism, like the way the Afghan Pakistan used to enjoy that status a couple of months or years back. So, therefore, India has to be prepared for new frontiers, and our Prime Minister is doing a great job in sharing this message with the world loud and clearly because Australia is a member of the Five Eyes. And once it goes there, it will go to all the members of the Five Eyes. The message will go out loud and clear. We
Right.
are aware of what are the developments taking
Okay.
place with regard to Canada, Niger's
Okay.
killing, and also the Panus case
Yes.
in UK.
Yes.